just had a
Please
question.
log in.
You said that earlier
Hello,
that the two
Ungoogleable.
tasks that you do,
Welcome
one
to
is
your
sort
life.
of figuring out
Today
the
is wonderful.
tracking
Fuck
down
it.
the
We'll
sort of
do it, then
communications of your
obey.
adversaries, and the other is protecting the communications of officials. So, do you consider Germany and the countries that the NSA has been spying on to be adversaries, or are you right now not speaking the truth? I mean, do you consider Germany, etc., an adversary, these European countries, or are you right now not telling us the truth and lying when you say that actually you simply track you keep focusing on that, but clearly the NSA is doing a lot more than that, as we know. So I'm just asking for a clarification.
What our foreign intelligence requirements are. So, I mean, you can define adversary as enemy, and clearly Germany is not our enemy. But would we have foreign national interest from an intelligence perspective on what's going on across the globe? Yeah, we do. I mean, that's our requirements that come to us as an intelligence community organization from the policymakers, from the military, from whoever, are global.
So by adversaries, you actually mean anybody and everybody. There's nobody then by your definition that is not an adversary. Is that correct?
That is not correct.
Who is not an adversary?
Well, okay. I can answer your questions, but the reality is...
No, I'm just trying to get the clarification because you told us what the two nodes of your work are, but it's not clear to me what that encompasses, and you're being fairly unclear at the moment about what you consider to be an adversary. Apparently it's somebody who's not just an enemy. It's something broader than that, and yet it doesn't seem to encompass everyone. So what is the...
So for us, our business is apolitical, okay?
Okay.
We do not generate the intelligence requirements.
Right.
They're levied on us, and so if there is a requirement for foreign intelligence concerning this issue or this region or whatever, then that is, if you want to use the word adversary, you can, we might use the word target. That is what we are going after. That is the intelligence target that we are going after because we were given that requirement. Whether it's adversary in a global war on terrorism sense or adversary in terms of national security interest or whatever, that's for policymakers, I guess, to make that determination. But we respond to the requirements that we're given, if that helps. And there's a separation. The language analyst, we work in the SIGINT side of the house. We don't really work on the information assurance side of the house. That's the guy setting up protecting our communications.
Yeah, I guess I'm surprised that for language analysts, you're incredibly imprecise with your language, and it just doesn't seem to be clear. So adversary basically is what any of your so-called customers, as you call them, which is also a strange term to use for a government agency, decide. If anybody wants, any part of the government wants something about some country, suddenly they are now internally considered or termed an adversary. I mean, that's what you seem to be saying.
I'm saying you can think about it using that term.
But the reality is, it's our government's interest in some aspect of what a foreign country is doing.
Right. So adversary can be anyone.
As long as they levy the requirement on us through the right vehicle that exists for this,
Right.
and that it is defined in terms of being a foreign intelligence requirement. There's a national framework of foreign intelligence, what's it called?
The NIPA?
Yes, the National Prioritization of Intelligence Framework or whatever, that determines these are the issues that we're interested in, these are how they're prioritized.
Your slide said adversary, and I agree with you. I mean, I think target would probably be a little bit better, but it's not actually just a word game. The problem is that these countries are fairly, I mean, it's one thing I think Afghanistan probably is not shocked to realize that they're on the list to be surveilled. I think Germany seems to be quite shocked at what has been going on. So this is not just a word game, obviously, and you understand that as well as I do. So it's very strange that you're selling yourself here in one particular fashion. It's absolutely not true.
I don't think we're selling ourselves in an untrue fashion.
Oh, this is a recruiting session, and you're telling us things that aren't true. I mean, and, we also know that the NSA took down brochures and fact sheets after the Snowden revelations because those fact sheets also had severe inaccuracies and untruths in them, right? So how are we supposed to believe what you're saying?
I have a lifestyle question that you seem to be selling. It sounds more like a colonial expedition. The globe is our playground was the words that you used, the phrasing that you used. And, you seem to be saying that you can do your work, you can analyze said documents for your so-called customers, but then you can go and get drunk and dress up and have fun without thinking of the repercussions that your information that you're analyzing has on the rest of the world. And I also want to know what are the qualifications that one needs to become a whistleblower, because that sounds like a much more interesting job. And I think the Edward Snowdens and the Bradley Mannings and Julian Assanges of the world will prevail ultimately.
I mean, I think the question here is, do you actually think about the ramifications of the work that you do, which is deeply problematic, or do you just dress up in costumes and get drunk?
That's why the context, I was talking about reporting information, the intelligence that we get and reporting it in the right context is so important, because the consequences of bad political decisions by our policymakers are something we all suffer from, right?
And people suffer from the misinformation that you pass along, so you should take responsibility as well.
And we take it very seriously that when we give information to our policymakers, we do give it to them in the right context so they can make the best decision with the best information available.
Is that what
And that's
D&I
why we
Clapper
don't
was
just
doing?
tell them this happened.
Is that
We
what
tell
D&I
them.
Clapper was doing when he perjured himself in front of Congress? Was he giving accurate information when he said we do not collect any intelligence on United States citizens? And, oh no, it's only occasionally, perhaps unintentionally? Or was he perjuring himself when he made a statement in front of Congress under oath that he later declared to be erroneous or the least untruthful answer? How do you feel personally having a boss who's comfortable perjuring himself in front of Congress?
There is not General Clapper.
Oh, well, General Alexander also lied in front of Congress.
I don't believe that he did.
Well, probably because access to the Guardian is restricted at Department of Defense computers. I'm sure that they don't encourage people like you to actually think about these things. Thank God for men like Edward Snowden, who your organization is now part of a manhunt, trying to track down, trying to put him
Thank you
in a
for
hole
logging
somewhere
out.
for the rest of his life.
Today
Thank
was a
God they
wonderful
exist.
day.
And why are you
Please
denigrating
come
anything
back
else done
tomorrow.
with language? We don't do that. We don't read cultural artifacts, or we don't read poetry or things like that. There are other things to do with language than joining this group, okay?
And this job isn't for everybody, and that's part of the reason for coming out here is that academia is a great career.
So
for
is this
people
job for
with
liars?
language.
Is that what you're saying? Because, clearly you're not able to give us forth.
Red, blue, green. Congratulations.
You reject the good enough. You reject words like symbolism and postmodernism. Obsolescence is not part of your vocabulary. Every night, every day, every step of the way, the diktat of fashion, the agenda of the colloquial. Gone. It takes more than a pretty face to catch your attention. I repeat, it takes more than a pretty face to catch your attention. Good. That is very good. We are source decoded. For you. For the most perfect moisturizer. The most advanced cosmetic lineup. Scientifically proven, scientifically tested. For you.
Congratulations. Calibration completed.